Hi, my name is Cindy Jardine. I'm with the School of Public Health at the University of Alberta.
And I'm Michelle Driedger, and I'm in the Department of Community Health Sciences at the University of Manitoba. And we are two of Canada's leading risk communication researchers.
What we're going to be presenting today is the results from a systematic review of the literature on how to best communicate the uncertainty associated with health risk information. This is research that was funded by the Canadian Institutes of Health Research, both through a knowledge synthesis grant and through a meetings planning and dissemination grant.
The last myth that we would like to address is the fact that the media never get it right. The realities are that from a risk communication perspective, the media is often the main channel by which a lot of messaging gets communicated to the public. They learn about what's happening in science, in health, in government, by virtue of how it's being covered within the media. So it's important to work with the media. But the tendency is to treat the media as a bad dog. Yes, they have a tendency to sensationalize information because as a media industry, they are trying to sell news. They're trying to sell stories. So there is a propensity towards infotainment. But at the same time, there are a number of reporters and journalists who are really trying to do their best in order to communicate the information in as balanced a way as possible. But it's important to cultivate media relationships. Reporters need to know that they can count on you as an individual or as an agency by which to know that you're going to respond within the time frames that they have to operate in. Because if you're not out there communicating the message that you're wanting to have out there within a public sphere, the media will fill the information void with whatever they can get their hands on. And this can create a great deal of myths and rumors. So then more time is spent on these rumors as opposed to actually communicating in a proactive fashion that which you're really most interested in trying to have out there as part of the story. So it's best to try to have those cultivated relationships, be out ahead of the story as opposed to always having to respond to myths and rumors, because then you're not able to get anything out the way you need to. And lastly, related to this is the idea that the spokesperson matters. Within the research that we looked at, often it was ideal if you could have the same kind of spokesperson. Now that doesn't necessarily work within a confederation like Canada, where we have multiple jurisdictions, we have multiple time zones, and of course one size doesn't fit all. There was also the idea that scientists are very effective communicators, particularly when it's they who know the body of evidence the best, they understand the situation the best, and they also can explain where the uncertainties really are. Is it a case that we just don't know? Or is it a case that there is some conflicting information based on different kinds of data? But the reality is, a scientist is not an effective communicator if they're not also given some of the skills and the tools of the trade in order to be able to communicate effectively with a public audience.
And it's not only that the spokesperson matters, we need to think what kind of images we're portraying to people when we are acting as spokespeople. We want an image of someone who can be trusted, someone who cares about the people they're talking to, who can engage with the people that they're talking to, who understands the health risks. And yet what we often do is instead release formal press releases in very formal, defined government settings. Now we don't want this to be a political message. We want this to be a message about health. So having political flags behind us or country flags or other messaging suits, scripted messages, is giving the wrong impression to the people that you want to talk to. More than just having the right spokespeople, we need to think about how the spokespeople actually look when they're giving messages to the public. Are they presenting themselves as caring health professionals who are knowledgeable in the area that they're talking about, who value the same things that their audience does in terms of protecting the people that they care about, and who engage properly with audiences? It's important then that people display themselves as caring about people, as being knowledgeable, and as not necessarily being a politician, but a concerned public health official who really wants the best thing for everyone involved. So our take-home messages from this. We need to start thinking of the media as friend rather than foe. And they become our friends when we work with them, when we cultivate relationships, and when we meet their needs in terms of information and timing and balanced stories. If we fail to meet these needs, they will find that information somewhere else, and it may not be the stories that we think are most appropriate for people to hear, or at least not providing them with the balanced information they need to make good decisions. And finally, that the spokespeople are important. We need people who are knowledgeable, people who are credible, and people who are trusted. And this means having both knowledge of the health risk itself, but some knowledge about how to communicate that in an effective way.
Last but not least, if you have any questions or you want to have more details about what it is we found or the articles that we looked at or any additional information about the study itself, please do not hesitate to contact either Cindy or myself, and we would be happy to provide you with that information. Thank you.